The Soljan family tradition in winemaking goes back a long way, and it goes back to the early parts of winemaking in New Zealand. Winemaking in New Zealand was started by the immigrants that came here from Croatia, as our family did. My grandparents and 5 children came here in 1927. One of those children was my father. He was 15 at the time. And my grandfather was a winemaker in Croatia, so when they got settled in New Zealand, he started a small winery of his own, and the family worked that. In 1937, my father built his own winery, also in Lincoln Road in Henderson, and that was a lift up from what his father started. And in 2002, we decided to move from that site and built this new winery in Kumeu. So the families have been involved in winemaking all the way through, and it's not just the men that are involved in it either, because the partners, the wives, my grandmother, my mother and my wife are an integral part of the whole family process, because without them, their husbands wouldn't achieve what they have throughout the whole winemaking process. So Croatia is our roots, and it is important to us. It's important culturally to us to be proud of our heritage. So in 2015, our whole family went to Croatia so the grandchildren could have a look at where the family came from, walk the old cobble streets and see the vineyards that my grandfather would have, the area that my grandfather would have grown grapes and making wine, visiting the old homestead and having a look at that as well, and the old stone structures, and the history is phenomenal over there. You know, while we're proud of that, our history, it doesn't hold us back. We're a modern winemaking company now, and rely on input from a whole lot of things. Our family is still involved in it. Our 2 daughters, Tanya and Lisa, are on the board of the company and ensure that they understand what's going on. My grandchildren work in the wine shop and in the winery, wherever is required. They have an interest in it, and since going to Croatia, it's ignited a new interest in the wine company from. But we also have a whole lot of great people that work for us in here, ensuring that it moves along on a daily basis. The most important part in the whole winemaking process is the vineyards. The vineyards is where you make good wine, not in the winery. So that means if we have good grapes, we can make good wine. Where years ago when we first started, we used to grow all the varieties in Auckland and make a range of wines. Now we grow certain varieties in the regions of New Zealand that those varieties grow best. In Kumeu, at the home winery, a home vineyard, we grow Pinot Gris and Chardonnay in the main. We also got a few Pinotage here as well, which is interesting. So up here, those varieties excel and they grow really well. In Gisborne, we grow aromatic varieties, Gewürztraminer and Muscat. In Hawke's Bay, we grow Merlot, Cabernet, Malbec, Syrah and Chardonnay. So that's a fantastic area for that, and New Zealand's 2nd largest vineyard area. In Marlborough, where you've got stony river flats, we grow Sauvignon Blanc, Riesling and Pinot Noir. So we've got lots of regions and all different soil types throughout. Up in Auckland, it's heavy, it's clay, we don't have to irrigate, but you get wines with intense flavour. In Gisborne, you get aromatics that come out of the soil, because once again, it's alluvial soil, river flats, really fantastic. Hawke's Bay, richness in the reds, the best reds come out of Hawke's Bay. All the varieties do exceedingly well, as well as Chardonnay. They really do well down there. And Marlborough, of course, which is home of Sauvignon Blanc, renowned for Sauvignon Blanc around the world. Sauvignon Blanc is, the soil types give you characters that are unique in the world. And because it's a cooler climate winemaking area, both Riesling and Pinot Noir do extremely well down there. So between those areas, we make a range of wines to suit most markets. We try to grow the best grapes, to make the best wines, to be able to supply the markets of the world. to recognise the heritage of the earlier winemakers, we decided to make a wine to celebrate the 3 generations of Soljan winemakers in New Zealand. I think this is quite unique. I don't think there's that many companies in New Zealand that have 3 generations of winemaking. So we make Tribute, which is a red wine, a blend of Merlot and Malbec, and that is made purely to recognise the 3 generations. My grandfather, my father and myself. Between us we put a lot of years into winemaking, and that is a signature wine of ours that celebrates 3 generations. We also make part of Tradition, which is our old port, our founder's port, which is bringing in the traditions of winemaking when it started in New Zealand with modern packaging, and it is really a fantastic product that we bring in. We also have the likes of Sauvignon Blanc, New Zealand's leading export wine that we're very lucky to have in New Zealand, and Sauvignon Blanc is now sold around the world. Method Champenois, wines that my grandfather would never even have dreamed of, but Method Champenois, Legacy Method Champenois, which is made in the traditional champagne method, and we can do it very well in New Zealand, so we're very proud of that. We also make, as I said before, Fusion, our biggest selling wine probably, and made out of Muscat grape variety, a variety that my father was very interested in growing and that sort of stuff. We've been making this wine for many, many years, and the popularity just continues to grow. So we're doing very well with all of these wines, plus a whole lot of others that suit all sorts of tastes. We talked about the importance of the vineyards, and that's a real important part of the whole winemaking process. But when you come into the winery, that's the second stage of the winemaking process. That is ultra important as well. So the winery that we built in Kumeu is modern. We have all of the technology to handle grapes from grapes coming in. We can process them all here. We can make the wine. So the winery is made up of a lot of stainless steel tanks, all computer operated for the temperature control. We can bottle it, we can package, we can export, we can dispatch it all from here. It's all under our own care. It's really important that we are in control of our whole winemaking process, so that at any stage we can ensure that the quality is absolutely the best we possibly can. We still employ a lot of traditional ideas though, because tradition is an important part in our wineries. So we do age a lot in oak barrels and take care of that side of things. So it's very modern, it's very technical nowadays. The whole winemaking process has changed enormously over the years, and we try our utmost to keep up with technology so that we are ahead of the pace, not behind, and so we can guarantee that people are getting the best possible wine they can out of Soljans. Here at our state-of-the-art multifunctional facility in Kumeu, we have our winery, of course, where we make all our wines and package and sell all our wines. We have our wine shop, which is open to the public 7 days a week, and we get tourists and visitors, domestic and international. We also have an award-winning cafe, which makes our complex that much more interesting for people to visit. We have a function area where we do weddings, birthday parties, where we host international groups, where we host government groups and all that sort of thing. So it's a multi-use facility that is a destination for not only domestic New Zealanders, but for international tourists as well.